Greetings and welcome to NSU SportsBeat, the only show on television with two incredible guys like us. I am dapper Mike Laderman, and with me, as always, the suave Dr. Pat Feely, and we've got a fantastic show today. We've got Kim Eason in the house, we've got Robyn Handler in the house, Pat, we've got kudos going out to Bryan Taylor. Just a great show coming up, but first I want to start with a little bit of recap of February, because that was a very good month for NSU athletics.
It was indeed. Women's tennis off to a good start early on. 2 wins, one against Division II Tampa. Coach Burke has the women playing well. Considering their lack of inexperience, his coaching has come through big.
Men's golf, too. They started out in February. They had their first meet. How'd that go?
Yeah, 1 tournament under their belt. They finished 9th in a 15-team tournament. Bad weather conditions, though, 40-mile-an-hour winds, but a 9th place finish isn't bad.
Unfortunately, let's switch over to men's basketball. I say, unfortunately, that we're not going to have the results of men's basketball, of course, with the airing of this tape right now for this month. But in February, men's basketball, not a bad month for them, especially with the problems that they had.
Yeah, taking into consideration the injuries, you lose Bryan Taylor with a shoulder injury, so you're down to 8 active players. So that takes its toll late in games. The guys got to wear down a little bit, but you know, the results haven't been bad. We went to Embry-Riddle on the road, took them to overtime, which is a good result there.
Key performances, though, throughout the month of February, Pat. Baseball team, Felipe Suarez, the pitching, the way they've come through with their 2 wins. Talk about that.
Felipe Suarez has both those 2 wins that baseball has early on in the season. At Florida Southern and at Rollins, both Division II teams that were ranked in the preseason in their poll. Felipe, 2 complete game wins, 22 strikeouts, 4 walks, ERA under 2, 167 batting average against. So a fantastic early season start.
We'll get more with Felipe Suarez and the baseball team later on in the show, Pat, but let's jump into now softball, and especially the pitching angle. Let's keep going on that because the softball team, their pitching staff's doing very well early on in the season.
Early on, you got 3 pitchers with 2 wins each, Cameran Morgan, Shannon Sawyer, and Julie King. Julie King also has 2 saves.
And they are looking really good. I mean, you look at other teams that play softball, they only have maybe 1 top pitcher. Some teams have 2. They have a 2-man rotation like the Knights had last year. This year, though, Robyn Handler, for the first time, has a solid 3-person rotation.
Yeah. This team has depth all the way around, and it doesn't end with the pitching staff. So the 3 pitchers we have, all capable #1 pitchers.
Well, this pitching staff, Pat, they're strong, they're on a roll, and they're just going to be going out there firing bullets at everybody.
Our pitching staff this year is unbelievable. I can't believe how good it is. We have a junior who has got 3 years experience already. I come in as a sophomore and didn't have a great year last year, but I hope this year's going to be great. And we have a terrific freshman.
I think we have a very strong pitching staff this year. 3 pitchers deep. You know, we have a lot of depth, and whenever one's struggling or somebody's not having a good day, we have 2 more behind us. So we're very strong throughout the whole pitching staff.
I think we have a real strong pitching staff. We have 3 pitchers. I think we all balance each other out real well. Most teams aren't going to see our pitchers more than once.
I think we're probably one of the best, if not the best. We not only have some speed through our pitching staff, but we have a lot of junk, and I think it's very rare to find pitchers that throw 5 or 6 junk ball pitches. So I think we're very strong, probably the best.
It's really nice to know that there's someone in the bullpen, if you're starting, that there's someone that can come in for you if you get into trouble. It takes some of the pressure off the starting pitcher.
Hey, we're not through with women's softball yet. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, we're talking with Kim Eason right after this on NSU SportsBeat.
He protects all living things in the forest. But he can't do it alone. Please don't play with matches. Put out your campfires. And never, ever forget the words of Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
It takes so little to save our rivers and oceans for future generations. If we use less toxic household cleaners, we protect a little. Fewer lawn care chemicals, a little more. And recycling used motor oil gains us so much. In fact, there are many things we can do in our everyday lives that can help stop water pollution forever. Clean water. If we all do a little, we can do a lot. Brought to you by the Natural Resources Defense Council and the Ad Councils of the U.S. and Japan.
She is one of America's toughest drug enforcement agents. Last year, she helped convict 90 drug dealers, seize several tons of crack and marijuana, and close down 10 major drug operations. She is a 68-year-old grandmother named Irma. She set up a community drug watch that is not only changing her neighborhood, but its future. There are many ways to help in your community. Call the Points of Light Foundation. Do something good. Feel something real.
Hey, welcome back to round 2 of NSU SportsBeat. Michael Laderman here with Kim Eason of the women's softball team. And Kim, let's talk about the seniors that the good Dr. Pat and I talked about earlier. A lot of seniors back on this team, and actually for the first time ever, this softball team has a lot of seniors. That's got to be great for you ladies.
It's wonderful, Mike. We have 7 seniors, and they have taken charge. We are batting over 400. There's about 5 of us, I believe, batting over 400 so far this season. And our freshmen are just picking up because they feel our confidence, and we just want to give that to them.
And that's something that you've never had really as a player through all your 3 previous seasons with the team. There's never been that senior leadership that all of a sudden this women's softball team has.
Exactly. We have the confidence to beat anybody. Anybody that walks on our field, we are going to beat. We have that attitude this year that we were somewhat lacking last year. And we feel the same thing when we travel to other people's field. We want to take over. We want to go on that mound at the end of the game and do our chant that we're number 1.
You say you were lacking some of that confidence last year. Is that because you were still maturing as players? Just as juniors, the main bulk. There were no seniors on that team, so you guys had nobody to look up to. Is that what the reason was?
That could have been one of the main reasons. We knew we had another year coming up. That was our first year as a team together, and this year is our second year with all the confidence in the world, knowing what everyone's capable of doing.
So is this then perhaps maybe a year of desperation because all the seniors, you know that, hey, there is no tomorrow?
Well, I wouldn't say desperation. I would say confidence. I believe that we are all just thrilled to be together as a team, to have every single player that we have on our team, knowing that everyone can do anything they put their mind to.
Kim, you've been with this team since day one, way back in 94, 95 season and everything. Talk about those days. Talk about what you saw back in the first days of the softball program, all the way to where it is through now.
Well, 4 years ago we started. We didn't have a bench. We had, I believe, 10 or 11 players, and we were more afraid to get hurt, knowing that we didn't have anyone on the bench to come in. And this year, we have so much confidence knowing that our first team is great and our second team is just as good, sitting, waiting to come out. And that just helps us knowing that we can beat anybody.
Yeah, back in 94, 95, you only had, I believe, 1 senior. The year after that, you guys had 2 seniors. And last year as juniors, 0 seniors. So you've never really had those people to look up to. How much of a help are you guys now to the underclassmen that you do have underneath you?
Well, we have a great underclass. I don't think that they need anything, but what we do give them, they have just stepped up as quick as they could. And I think that's helping us win these games and win by a great margin.
Your goals now have changed a little bit, I guess, from the beginning of the year, though, right? I mean, before, like you said, you mentioned each year there was a different goal. What's this year's goal now?
Well, a few years ago, our goal was just to finish 500, and that's been our goal. We wanted to be good. This year, we want to be great. We want to be number 1. We have set our goal to win nationals, not just to get there, and not just to win our conference. We know we can do that, and now we want to win. We want to win nationals.
Okay, we've got a great group of seniors there and a great group of underclassmen, like you said. And let's face it, this team thinks they have good fortunes to go anywhere they want to go.
I definitely think it's our year to win it all because there's 7 seniors on the team. We have a lot of leadership, and we have a lot of competitive players. So we should do well.
This is absolutely the year for us to go to nationals. We've got all the best players that we had from last year coming back, and we've got some additional players coming in, freshmen and sophomores, that are absolutely incredible.
Well, we have 7 seniors, 4 of us that have been together for 4 years. We have a strong defense and offense. I think we're going to come out on top just like we did last year.
There's 4 of us that have been here since the beginning of the program. We'll make sure that we go out with a bang. We're an inch away from winning it all last year, and we're going to go to nationals, no doubt about it.
Because we came so close last year, I think that we're really looking forward to going even farther this year and taking the challenge. As a team, I can see that we are even more excited and more hungry, and we want it even more than we ever have before.
Every year we always come one step further than the year before. We came in, 3rd in regionals, so now we're definitely going to win regionals and go on to nationals.
Hey, we're back now with Robyn Handler, the head women's softball coach at Nova Southeastern University. And Robyn, let's talk about some of the pressures that may or may not even be there. I mean, after all, Kim Eason comes on the show and says just how confident everybody is that not only they're going to get to the national tournament, but they're going to win the national tournament. What does that put on you?
I don't think there's a lot of pressure put on them. It's something that they came in and said, this year we're going to nationals. And it's not so much that there's pressure on them, it's something that they really want this year.
How does that make you feel when you hear that? I mean, after all, this is really the first team that you've had that shows so much, I think, confidence coming into a season rather than slowly building up through the year.
Well, in the past, we really haven't had any kind of senior leadership, and this year we have 7 of them, and 7 of them will finish their career this year, and that's what we're led by.
So does that maybe put pressure then on the players, knowing that they want to go out on top?
No, I think it's something that they want, and they've told me that since this is their last year, this is the year that they want to remember for days to come, and I think they're putting in a strong effort to make it their best year.
I think what's great about this softball team, Robyn, is that every year that you guys have played, you've set your goals and you've met your goals. I mean, year one, and we've mentioned this before in the show before, is that year one you want to go 500, you finish above 500. Year two you want to win 20, you win 27. Year three, last year, you want to win the conference, and then you end up winning the conference and going to regionals. What's year four? What do those goals have for this season?
Year four, we set 3 goals again. We want to win the conference again. We want to win over 40 games, and then our last goal is to get past regionals and go to nationals this year.
Do you think you could do it? And if so, do you think you could win that nationals, such as, say, Kim Eason said here?
I think we can get there, but I think it's something that they really want, and we'll be fueled by that, whatever the result is.
Well, you know, I think this team can do it. I agree with you as to the confidence level, and I agree with Kim Eason. After all, this is a team, I feel, that won't let anybody burst their balloon.
I think we have a lot of expectations that we have to live up to, but I think our team is strong defensively and offensively, and I think we have the talent to accomplish what we did last year and then some. I think we're great. We have attitude, we have talent, we have just motivation.
Yes, I think there's a lot of pressure on us to win this year. Last year we had a really successful season, and I don't think any team wants to go back and do worse than they did the previous year. I think there's a lot of pressure on us, but I think we're ready for it, and I think we'll do okay.
All the returners want it bad. I mean, the people that are coming in even, want it. I mean, just the way that we practice every day, 100%, we give 100%.
We want to do better. We have more talent than I think we've ever had. I think we're strong, so it is pretty much business as usual, but we want to strive and reach higher.
I think it's going to be a little more than business. We're going to be a lot more aggressive, have a better attitude, we're the best and nobody can beat us.
I think we have the spirit and just everything to be a great team.
I think we've gotten rid of a lot of the quirks that seemed to bring us down last year, and our defense is strong and our offense is strong, and I think the pressure is reduced because we're playing so well together. We're good friends and we're great teammates.
I mean, we are determined to win, and we'll do anything, whatever it takes to win.
We are strong, and we always come out to practice like we're going to win no matter what. We never play anybody down or up. We play the same every time. We expect to take care of our business.
Hey, look who's back. It's Dr. Pat. But just in time that we go to a commercial break. But we'll be back right after these messages on NSU Sports Beat.
Isn't in the scene cause it's written in the book. Painting on the mean cause I'm digging on the look. I'm script like a log in the woods. I'm a gift that you get and you get.
Lung disease and other breathing problems are the leading cause of death in infants. But thanks to the American Lung Association's efforts in research and education, more kids are able to grow up to become what they were always meant to be, a real handful. Help us fight lung disease and air pollution. Call 1-800-LUNG-USA, because when you can't breathe, nothing else matters.
In a recent worldwide educational test, the United States didn't rank first or second or even third.
Switzerland.
It seems while the rest of the world raised their educational standards,
Scotland. Slovenia.
we didn't.
Spain.
So we came in 14th.
The United States.
And 14th is no place for our kids to be. Call 1-800-96-PROMISE, and we'll give you lots of ways to help our kids move forward again.
You're getting so angry. That's enough! Enough! I'm gonna give you something to scream about! Get over here! Get up! I can't! I'm talking to you! Get up! I can't! Stop crying! You're asking for it again!
For information about how you can help stop domestic violence, call us.
Hey, welcome back to round 3 Of NSU Sports Beat, Michael Laderman still here with the good Dr. Pat Feely. And Pat, let's swing it on over now to baseball, no pun intended. They have their senior leadership, but it's a different senior leadership than, say, the softball team is.
Yeah, unlike Robyn Handler's softball team, Sonny Hansley doesn't have all the senior leadership. He's only got 2 everyday starters who are seniors, and right fielder Marc Groeneveld, shortstop Jerry Simmons. Then you've got 3 pitchers, Matt Bennett, Felipe Suarez, and John Hassel. Really the big 3 of the pitching staff who are seniors.
How tough is that going to be for Coach Hansley and the rest of the coaching staff to try and go through the entire season with such a young squad and try to get back to where they came from?
Well, early on it might be a problem, but as this team plays more and more games, the youngsters are only going to get better. So they've got that to look forward to. This team is going to mesh. They're going to improve as the season wears on. So they're going to be ready to go once the conference tournament rolls around.
And they're getting some great playing time, and they're playing very good, too. I mean, talk about some of the great stand-up performances that we've seen already.
Sure. Early on this season, you got Chris Villano, the everyday starter in center field. He's only a freshman, hitting the ball well, making some great defensive plays. Tom Ayala's getting some starts in left field. He's hit the ball well and played good defense as well. Then you've got Todd Gittleman, throws hard. He's pitched some good quality innings early on.
Well, you know what, Pat? There can be a lot of pressure on these young guys coming into the game, but they're ready to put on the gloves and get in the ring and give it a good fight.
I think this year's team could be very good. We're a very young team, and as the year progresses, we'll be able to come together as a team and gel. And I really think that as the young guys step it up and the older guys show the way, that we'll really be able to be a good team, especially later on in the year.
I think we can be really good. We just have to pull everything together with the pitching and the hitting and our defense. You know, it's still early, and you know, the signs of a good team are, you know, how good they can play in a stretch and win the good games. You know, when the good teams roll around, you know, how good we can play against them. You know, and how good the team can be at the end of the season, not in the beginning.
I think we'd be all right if we play defense good and get better pitching, and I think our hitting will come around as we progress.
We might have had a rough start, but I think we have a good chance to win the conference like we did last year.
We just gotta, it's only like 1 or 2 times that, you know, like 1 or 2 things that happens that takes us out of the game. So if we're able to, you know, cut down on those bad things that happens, those small errors, then maybe, you know, we're going to be able to win the rest of the games. You never know how the season's going to turn out, but hopefully it's going to turn out, you know, for the better.
I don't know that the young guys feel that much more pressure than the older guys do. It's early in the season, and I think that, you know, as they play, they'll be able to you know, get to work together, and we'll come together as a team.
I don't really think that the young guys really face that much pressure because we have the same responsibilities that the older kids have. You know, and we just have to do our job.
Well, I think that the young kids don't face as much pressure because they don't have to really do as much as the older kids. The older kids are probably more pressure because we look up to them more, so I think the pressure is less on the young kids than on us.
I think the only people who have pressure are the freshmen possibly because they have to prove themselves to the coaches and earn a spot on the team.
They're doing well, they're stepping up, they're not playing like freshmen, just like Coach always emphasizes about, so I'm looking forward to the rest of the season.
Young kids on our team come from pretty good programs, and we expect them to participate in our program and be able to handle the types of things that they did at the high school level. Winning is a contagious thing, and I think once you've been in a program that's been successful, you really know how to handle pressure. And we've always told our freshmen that come into our program that if they play like freshmen after our fall program, they're not going to get a chance to play very much. So the guys that are playing as freshmen right now are doing an outstanding job.
I'll tell you about what's interesting about this baseball team this year, though, is that they're not just rebuilding, they're calling this a reloading year.
Yeah, well, that's because Coach Hanley is so confident in the ability of these young players that he's brought in. Maybe early on this season, they haven't had a chance, all of them, to prove themselves yet. You got Dave Mamone's had a back injury, so we haven't been able to see what he's capable of doing. Bryan Needle, he's been used more as a pitcher than as a middle infielder where we think he's going to end up. But as the season wears on, all these players are going to get a chance to go out there and prove themselves.
You know, I think, though, if some other coach maybe would have had this team, I mean, you look at the roster top to bottom, there's just loads of freshmen and loads of sophomores, and coaches might be reluctant to go on the rest of the year and say, well, let's just take this year, put it aside, and build towards the future. But they're not doing that here at Nova Southeastern.
No, they aren't, mainly because of the pitching staff. You've got Felipe Suarez. He's as good as it gets as a pitcher. Then you've got John Hassel. Once he rounds into form from the arm injury that he sustained last fall, he's going to be right there as well. Matt Bennett's going to get stronger. His arm's going to get stronger as the year goes on. Todd Gittleman, that young freshman, he throws the ball hard. He's going to be a major contributor to the pitching staff.
Well, you know, Pat, unlike maybe some other baseball programs, this is a baseball program that has rich in tradition, and that's why that this team is not ready to throw this season into the garbage yet.
I think when you decide to go anywhere, you look at the tradition, and I think we've had a fabulous tradition here, and hopefully it will continue. And I think this year we're going to have to fight for that, and that's, you know, one of the things that we look at and take a lot of pride in.
We are willing to fight hard this year to keep the tradition of the school that we produced the last couple years. we want to keep the program up on top and always succeed.
I'd like to repeat what we had last year and maybe go a little farther. It's going to be tough, but if everybody does what we're supposed to do and makes the plays and use our head, I think we can get there.
I have to agree with that, we've played with some seniors that set the tone for us underclassmen, and as a senior this year, I'm trying to do the same so the underclassmen can carry on the tradition here at Nova Southeastern.
Tradition is important to us, and we try to get our players to understand that the players that before them have really set a foundation for them to be successful with. And hopefully they're going to be able to handle that. I think other teams in our conference look at us as a team that they want to beat, and that's the way we really like it to be. We haven't been playing as well as we need to play over the last couple of weeks, but we expect that before the season's over, we'll be at full strength, and we should be a team to reckon with as far as the conference championship is concerned.
The 5 seniors that we have on this team worked very hard in the fall, and I don't think it's right for the other teams to write us off. We're going to produce and win games just like we did last year.
If they write us off, I think they're in for a lot of trouble. We got a lot of young guys that are pretty good. I think Sonny did an excellent job recruiting. He brought in a guy like Villano, who steps right in, filling big shoes in Claude Love, and I don't think we've missed a beat.
Yeah, I feel it's a mistake if teams write us off just because we have 5 seniors. We have a lot of other underclassmen that are stepping it up big this year, and we expect big things out of them.
I think it is a mistake for teams to overlook us because we have a lot of freshmen that have come in and they're on the starting role, and they've stepped up and they can handle the competition, and our seniors are there and they've proven themselves, so I think we'll be all right.
Hey, 30 minutes have come and gone like that. This show's over, it's history. But hey, it's been great. For Dr. Pat, for Steve, for Dina, for Victor, and for myself, Michael Laderman, and Pepe and Juan as well, this has been NSU Sports Beat. Hope to see you again, and we'll see you next time. Be good.